All right, so moving on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my UFC 324 co-main event fight prediction between Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong. So fight was scheduled all along to take place on the UFC 324 card between Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong. Due to the unfortunate neck injury that Kayla Harrison suffered during camp, she is no longer able to compete and defend her bantamweight championship against Amanda Nunes in the co-main event slot for UFC 324. So that fight has been scrapped. Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes will hopefully take place at a later date in 2026. So Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong has been elevated to the co-main event slot for the UFC 324 card. Storylines heading into the co-main event between Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong. Is this Sean O'Malley's last chance at the bantamweight division? What I mean by that is Sean O'Malley was viewed as a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC up until he lost the bantamweight championship late in 2024 against Merab. And he's lost 2 straight title fights in a row in dominating fashion, was submitted for the first time in his UFC career. And I feel like this fight against Song Yadong, this is a do-or-die situation for Sean O'Malley. Because again, like I just said, he lost 2 bantamweight title fights in dominant fashion. And it seems like the division is starting to close in on him. And the division actually is getting much better. You have Peter Yan, who is the new bantamweight champion. Yeah, they fought a while ago, but that was a very close fight. I think we're seeing a much better version of Peter Yan at this point. Peter Yan's the champion. Merab, still one of the best pound-for-pound fighters that the UFC has to offer. Corey Sandhagen has climbed up the ranks at this bantamweight division. You have Umar, who's only lost once in his MMA career. And a loss here, I think Sean O'Malley's at a crossroads where he either has to move up to the featherweight division or move down to the flyweight division. I think this is really going to tell us a lot about which direction Sean O'Malley goes in if he loses this fight. So I think this is a win or go home situation if you're Sean O'Malley, if you really want to stay here at 135 at the bantamweight division. And final storyline is, can Song Yadong win the biggest fight of his MMA career? Like, Song Yadong, a victory here, how the landscape of the bantamweight division is playing out. I just named some top tier names at this division. I think a win here for Song Yadong would project him to get a title opportunity before the year ends, because he just defeated Henry Cejudo in his last fight that we've seen Song Yadong in the octagon, and a win against another former world champion in Sean O'Malley. That would probably put him in a good place to earn a bantamweight title opportunity by the end of the year. Probably have to fight one more opposing fighter, because it seems like Peter Yan and Merab are going to run back the rematch possibly in the spring for the bantamweight championship, and a trilogy should happen. So probably Song Yadong or Sean O'Malley, whoever wins this, will probably have to defeat one more top tier name to get a title opportunity. But hey, it's all on the line for these fighters heading into the co-main event of UFC 324. Tail of the tape heading into this fight. You have Song Yadong. Song Yadong has 22 victories, 8 losses, and 1 draw in his MMA career. 9 victories come away of knockout, 3 submission victories. Currently the 5th ranked contender at the bantamweight division. It stands at 5'8" with a reach of 67 inches. Then I'm looking at Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley has 18 victories, 3 losses in his MMA career. 12 victories come away of knockout, 1 submission victory. The 3rd ranked contender at the bantamweight division, stands at 5'11" with a reach of 72 inches. So, I think, yeah, the height and the reach go in favor of Sean O'Malley heading into this fight. We'll see with that boxing background if that helped him out in the co-main event of UFC 324. But the following game plans that I have for these fighters to follow, starting off with Song Yadong. I think Song Yadong has to use his MMA IQ to exploit openings. Now, what I mean by to use his MMA IQ and exploit openings, there's no secret that this will most likely be a striking affair, because Sean O'Malley, we all know he's not a good grappler. I think Song Yadong is willing to match fire with fire, and he probably likes his chances matching up against Sean O'Malley in a striking affair. So I think for majority of this fight, you'll probably see it standing. There's no secret to this, but I think he has to be alert to make Sean O'Malley pay for his mistakes. Use MAIQ to exploit openings, and that could lead to Song Yadong winning the counterpunching battle, landing the overhand right. The overhand right is the best shot in Song Yadong's arsenal in his toolbox. That overhand right is very dangerous. That punch packs a lot of power. And I think if it can land on Sean O'Malley, he could possibly land the knockdown and then rush in for the finish against Sean O'Malley. So use that MMA IQ to exploit openings. I know I just said it'll probably be striking, but it's not the worst thing in the world to exploit Sean O'Malley's weakness, and that's in the grappling department. We just seen Merab toy around with Sean O'Malley in his last 2 fights. Now, Song Yadong is obviously no Merab in the grappling department, but hell, you could at least try land some takedowns and land the takedowns to make Sean O'Malley feel uncomfortable and keep him grounded on the ground. Uncomfortable situation that Sean O'Malley does not like to be in, and clearly you can see that during his MMA career. And last but not least, I think Song Yadong should aim to fight in the clinch. Now, if Song Yadong can fight in the clinch, wear down Sean O'Malley fighting in the clinch, this could go in the favor of him possibly winning this fight in the co-main event of UFC 324. Because if you fight in the if you fight in the clinch, you could possibly back Sean O'Malley's back into the fence inside the octagon, unintentionally, of course. But you could back his back into the fence and slip in the power shots, some uppercuts, and some elbow strikes that could really hurt Sean O'Malley in that octagon. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Song Yadong's game plan is going to be. Looking for Sean O'Malley here, I think Sean O'Malley should tap into that boxing background. Now, I think if Sean O'Malley can fight in different lateral movements, use the jab, use his footwork skills to fight in different lateral movements, and obviously Sean O'Malley is a switch stance fighter, likes to switch his stances a lot in the octagon. This could go in a long way for him to confuse Song Yadong, fight in the range and use the jab, and pick some openings that could present itself down the line and as the fight goes on between himself and Song Yadong. Also, I think Sean O'Malley has to be alert defensively. He has to be alert defensively, cannot get hurt with some shots, because Song Yadong has the power to hurt opponents, and we've seen that during his MMA career, especially in the UFC. So I think Sean O'Malley has to be alert defensively, avoid the big power shots that Song Yadong could possibly land, go in the high guard, and the high guard look defensively to avoid the big shots that Song Yadong could possibly land. And last but not least, fight at a fast-paced style. Now, the fast-paced style is Sean O'Malley's bread and butter. Now, you even seen him doing some feints in the octagon sometimes. Like, he'll act like he's throwing something up, then try to punch somebody. Like, that's the prime Sean O'Malley. And I want to see if he could get back to that. Now, obviously, I don't think the bait's going to work like that much longer. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, the fast-paced style, the unpredictable style that Sean O'Malley possesses in the octagon, that's the reason why he was a former world champion at this bantamweight division and has some top-tier wins in his UFC career. So, the fast-paced style, this is what opens the door for opponents to make mistakes. If he could do that, land the 1-2 combinations, land the high knee strikes, the leg kicks to the body, to the head, this could go in favor of Sean O'Malley defeating Song Yadong here. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley to defeat Song Yadong. I think Sean O'Malley wins this fight by decision in the co-main event of UFC 324. I think this will be the win that Sean O'Malley is looking for to get himself back into world title contention at this bantamweight division. Like I said, this is a do-or-die fight for Sean O'Malley's future at bantamweight, because a loss here against Song Yadong, you might want to consider moving up to featherweight or moving down to flyweight, because the division is already starting to catch up to him. Peter Yan's the world champion. Merab still here. Corey Sandhagen, Umar, like there's so many other names other than Sean O'Malley that is a threat to Peter Yan's bantamweight championship right now. So this is a do or die scenario. And I think Sean O'Malley's key to victory against Song Yadong, he has to be alert defensively in the pocket, be aware of Song Yadong's power shots. And that goes to my point. If you use that boxing background where you can fight in different lateral movements, fight in range using the jab, and use the high guard look defensively to avoid the big shots that Song Yadong might be trying to land, this could go in the favor of Sean O'Malley to frustrate Song Yadong and then go in for some opportunities that might present itself. Fight in the distance, fight at your own fast pace. Sean O'Malley's fast pace is one of the reasons why he looked good as the bantamweight champion a while back. So I think if Sean O'Malley can win the counter-punching battle, land the significant strikes, outclass and outwork Song Yadong, if the fight is kept standing, then he has a good opportunity of hurting Song Yadong, landing the power shots, possibly getting the knockout, but I think he'll do enough to just get the decision victory against Song Yadong. But I think Sean O'Malley, this is going to be a statement victory for him to get back in world title contention at the bantamweight division. I like his chances against Song Yadong winning this fight by decision. But that is my co-main event prediction for this weekend's fight between Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong.